I feel like I'm the opposite, where I couldn't enter a relationship until I knew those needs could be met, whether that's like a lot of friendships.
You are the opposite. You're the odd man out.
But is that just a different approach, or does that make me wrong, or other people right? Like, what's the?
I mean, I'm more leaning towards your approach than anything, but that I don't know. Based on what I have seen on like everyone that I've known throughout the course of my life, people just kind of get into relationships to like almost to be in a relationship. Like obviously they date enough people that they think the relationship has a chance to work, but they're like settling for a good match when my goal is the best match.
Well, yeah, that's like mine too. Like my ideal wife is someone who's my best friend. So
Yeah.
in my head, if they can't be my best friend before we're dating, what's the chance that they're gonna automatically become my best friend sometime while we're dating, or it's not gonna feel forced? And
I'm
my thing is, I am perfectly fine waiting until I find that,
Right.
because I'm not looking for a perfect person. I'm looking for my best friend, and I just it seems more emotionally taxing to get into relationships with people who you don't view as your best friend, or like have completely different lifestyles or goals than you, and just being okay with being in that in the moment, and then having to cut it off one day, or like realize you're unhappy, kind of like a job too, where it's like you don't leave until it just feels like hell,
That's the
and
other
then
thing
you're
too
upset.
is I think you have enough self knowledge to be pretty well aware of what you want and what you like want out of a relationship. And as far as I can tell, a lot of people don't have that, and they get into a relationship as like, oh well, even if this relationship doesn't work, at least I've figured out more of like what I want out of a relationship.
So do you feel like maybe what I lack in wanting to like jump in a relationship is potentially like what I'm learning behind the scenes, or like watching other people. I'm essentially saying like, hey, I can learn these lessons without having to jump in, and like look for my best friend. But like other people, they might not have the same thought process as me, and they only get that perspective after the fact.
I
Like they
mean,
have to go through it to.
I think other people end up better off in general. Like going through it gives you the experience, and watching other people is not the same as experiencing it yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
For all that, yeah, you can watch people and kind of get a pretty good idea of what's going on without having to put yourself through that if you like if that's not something that you're wanting to do.
Well, he.
How do you feel about relationships, like boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatever, that pull people away from their friends? Like, where they don't want you either being around your friends, or like, um, essentially like making you feel guilty for having time spent with people that aren't them.
I mean, that very like to me that very much seems as like the high school approach to relationships. Where it's like if you're gonna base your entire relationship off of like jealousy, basically, that's that's not a relationship that I would want any part of.
But do you think that's like in a bit like abandonment issue to a certain extent, where it's like they
Yeah.
value that time, or
yeah.
they want that time because they either lacked it in the past, or they had and lost
Well,
it, and
it's that and it's insecurity of like um that it's insecurity in their own value.
because like when I think of people who go through that, or I see that, I feel again like on the opposite spectrum, where it's like I almost want a relationship, like because like here's my thing with dating apps. It's I think I finally found the words to like put it on why I don't like dating apps. I want to date someone who's not looking to date, if that makes sense. Like I want to date someone who's already going about their life, their goals, what they're working towards, and they don't need me, but we both are working towards our goals together, and then we just make a better team. Like we support
You
each
want
other,
someone that like is
pushes you.
already secure in their self to the point where they don't need a relationship, but it's like kind of the same thing you're saying, where it's like a relationship will provide more value to you, but you can like live without it type of thing.
Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times in life, that's sometimes like the best things. Is like the things we almost value the most is the things we weren't always looking for, or didn't know we needed. And then like it comes into your life, and you're like, oh wow, that was huge. Like I would have never just actively looked for this, or I would have never actively found this because I didn't know this was going to be that beneficial.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, it's up to you, it is. I think we are both old-fashioned people.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like that sometimes, that I was just like kind of born in the wrong time.
I do too. I wish I was born before social media. Well, technically I was, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
living.
like in the 60s or 50s.
80s would be fun. I feel like the 80s to the 90s would have been lit.
Yeah, but
Right.
the outfits were ugly.
Whatever.
Yeah, I can deal with ugly outfits. I just like every time I think about the 80s, anyone that I talk to that's like from the 80s or 90s, like actually were, because I mean I'm from the 90s, but I was like half the 90s I don't remember, and like the last 3 years or 2 years of it I was a kid. So like I didn't experience the real 90s, but anyone that I talked to from like the 80s or 90s are like, yeah, those are good times.
Yeah, like those were the days.
Yeah, and I'm like, really? I want to know.
I want to live in the days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how often is it?
Your mic cut out. How often is what?
Are they thinking about the bad moments? Because remember that's when the Soviet Russia was threatening to bomb every day, or the...
Yeah, I mean,
Does it matter though? Like,
it's
I
with
mean-
every. It doesn't matter what time period we go to. There's gonna be some type of conflict, and that's.
Yeah,
I guess that's one of the reasons why I want to experience it. Because like, no matter what you look like, this happened or that happened. I'm like, well, I want to experience it just so I can be like, okay. Because I know, like, I definitely view the world in like in terms of like the grass is greener, and so I just want to be like, I guess I just want to go and be like, okay, all right, now I know it's not better. It's just the same. It's the same, you know. And life is what you make of it, or whatever.
which is true.
Some like cringy, cliche shit like that. So
I see.
I mean, it's a cliche, but it's like
yeah,
pretty long-lasting advice for a reason.
that is true. Okay. Got more glowstone. Boom. No, wait. I was supposed to trade with this guy.
Are you streaming or?
Yeah, I am. Bro, I took.
Reed, do you feel like you're missing out by not being in a relationship?
Yes and no. I think no in the terms of like I don't need a relationship to be happy or like go about my life, but like in terms of like missing out, essentially a lot of my life goals are focused on like having a wife and family and like kind of the whole idea of like what I enjoyed most about like my childhood or like family and like wanting that. So it's like I don't feel like I'm missing out on it. I'm just like praying that I not only find who that person is, but like it happens, if that makes sense. Like I'm not putting a time on it in the sense of like I need to find this person the next year, and the first person I find I'm gonna try to marry or try to get with. But I'd be lying if I said like
Put that up.
I wouldn't be happy. Is weird because I don't think like it would make me feel I have found more of like my life's purpose if I was with someone who I could see spending the rest of my life with, and we talked about having a family and like wanting to get married and that stuff. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
What
Well,
I'm
'cause
not-
my only concern is that I'm kind of like in a similar situation to you. That is, it's like, what happens if you don't just like organically run into someone?
Well, I think what's important with that is like putting yourself in like you can have an idea of what you want or like the person you want, but it's almost on you to a certain extent to put yourself in those scenarios. So it's like, for example, let's say I want a Christian woman, right? What are the odds I'm just gonna randomly working from home where I never find that unless it's like potentially dating that? But if I'm going to a church, if I have like a small group, I'm talking to people there, if we're doing like athletic stuff one night and I get to hang out with them, the odds that I could potentially like find someone who's in that realm of what I'm looking for is a lot more likely. And I would put that on like you can have an idea of what you want, but you also have to like put into work to make it happen. Same way like what you would put in terms of like a list of what you would value in a relationship if you did find it. Another person is putting together that list for you, and whether or not you check those things that they're looking for, or you're that type of person they're looking for. And other times too, you might like the person who's perfect for you might be in a completely different period of life than you are right now, and they have to go through stuff to get to a position where they're ready for that sort of thing, or like vice versa. Like so much can change so quickly that it blows my mind how much, like we were talking about, like it's like you look on Facebook and you see a person who was single a year ago and they're already married. It's like what? Or someone like you went to high school with, like Oscar, and they already have a 12-year-old. It's like holy cow, time flies.
Yeah. Do you think you have a long list in terms of criteria that need to be met for you to date somebody, or because I know you're like, because I know you talk about like I want like because you seem very similar in terms of like how Heather was, because when Heather and I started dating, like we obviously were really close friends in middle school, and it's a little bit different whenever you're an adult and you're not like in classes with somebody, right? So we became really good friends, and then when we got to high school, we had talked about like what we wanted in terms of marriage, and then when we got to college, by the time we reached college, we had been together so long that it reached the point where Heather was like why are we still dating? Like why aren't we engaged? You know, like I don't date to just date, right? So I'm just curious of like for you if there's like what that criteria is and what makes it so difficult to find. I mean, obviously there's been like a pandemic, so like going out for, you know, I mean, going out for a while just wasn't a thing.
I think it's multiple things. I think one, there might be a misconception of maybe how I talk about it or what like I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like the whole stereotype. I'm looking for a Christian Asian who's thick and goes to the gym and loves anime and soccer is
Right.
not what I'm looking for.
Right.
Like there might be certain things or preferences or what I find like, attractive.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean like a brunette white girl who's in my church group couldn't meet like whatever criteria is.
Of course.
And like to be honest, I don't have a long list of criteria. The criteria is kind of like the content of my heart, if that makes sense, where it's one of those things where I kind of just roll with it.
Yeah.
I'm looking to be friends with people, and if I feel that connection, I act on it. So if I feel like I'm connected to someone, I'm gonna ask them on a date. I'm gonna see where it goes.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the only really criteria I personally care about is like kind of that like relationship with God, because for me that's such a big part of my life, and it's one of those things like I was talking about before. There's no like standpoint in my life where I'm gonna be like, yeah, I have a faith. That's good enough. I want to stop there. No, I want to be a lifelong learner. I want to keep learning what that means to me. I want to keep seeing like me grow in my understanding of that. I want to have more knowledge of the Bible. I want to have more understanding of like who Jesus was. I want to read other books. I want to get more life experiences. I want to maybe go overseas and see it myself.
Right.
I want to see how God has worked in other people's lives. I want to go to different churches. I want to go to different groups. I want to experience like all the awes and wonders of the world.
Yeah.
And that means I have to be in a position where I feel like my heart is tilted towards that.
Of course.
And I don't know if you were in the call when I talked about it yesterday, but in my small group on Monday, one of the girls like broke down in tears because we were like all getting like super deep into talks and stuff. And one of the things that she talked about was the hard decision she had to make, because she and her boyfriend, the love of her life, got together before both of them were even Christians.
Yeah.
And she became a Christian while in a relationship.
Yeah.
And she realized certain aspects of her life that she didn't like and things that she wanted to grow in. And what that's done is she still has that love for her boyfriend. She wants to spend the rest of her life with her boyfriend, but she feels like they're in completely two different planets now. And she doesn't want to force her boyfriend to like obviously get a faith, but at the same time, she wants to have the guidance and kind of like pray on it to the point where she feels comfortable or wants to feel comfortable if she needs to leave the relationship because she doesn't feel like it's there, that she's
Yeah.
comfortable doing that.
Right.
And like that kind of like
Ooh.
changed my perspective on it all over again because like we've all gone from the perspective of like, oh, Reed, as a Christian, would you date a non-Christian? But no one ever talks about like two non-Christians getting together and what happens when one becomes. I feel like that's a whole different ballpark, like anything else, where if you get with someone like we were talking about before in high school,
Yeah.
and all you know is high school, and then you go to college and you get introduced to all these new experiences and lifestyles, and you're on a completely different planet than that other person, you sometimes realize, hey, I thought that person was my world, but they were really just high school.
Yeah.
Now that I'm following what I'm passionate about and I'm finding people who are also passionate about these things, I have a better fit with these people.
Right.
Like you don't know. And like the way I kind of put it too, like I do this with everyone in my life. I kind of behind the scenes pray over friendships and like pray over potential relationships to where it's like if people aren't meant to be in my life, I kind of just like ask God to like kind of remove the people who aren't meant to be there.
Right.
And like part of that, what's caused me to do is view life in terms of like I'm doing the actions, I'm going through and doing these things. God can like help me with these. God might have like a certain plan for me. But
Yeah.
unless I'm doing like the legwork and trying to like figure out what that is, I'm never going to be able to do it on my own.
Right.
And what I mean by that is not taking like control away from me, but saying like if I choose to act on what I think is right, it's going to put me in a different place than I want to be. For example, what I talked about in my group on Monday was how one of the questions asked on church that Sunday was ministry requires being flexible. And the question that was asked was, would you follow God if he called you in a different direction than he did before? And that hit super close to home to me because in high school, I was following my faith through soccer and I wanted to be a professional soccer player. I wanted to play overseas. I had all these like dreams and aspirations, but a lot of my faith was like tied through there.
Yeah.
Where I felt God really was calling me to that. And what happened was I started kind of like building my identity, not only around God, but also building my identity for in who I was as an athlete.
Yeah.
And what that did was it made me stop caring more about like if God's plan was changing for me and not really looking at that, and more looking at me as the athlete. And obviously concussions, things not going my way, kind of seeing that opportunity slowly go away. My initial frustration was I feel distant from God because God called me to do this, and now he's taking it away.
Right.
When in reality, maybe that was the thing I was meant to be for a couple years, and God had something better for me. And I can tell you without a doubt, I would have never gone to Whitewater if that would have continued. I probably would have played Division I soccer at Penn State. I would have tried to probably play at a low level overseas in like either England or Germany. I would have been a completely different person.
Yeah.
I would have never went to Whitewater. I would have never joined InterVarsity. I would have never met Scotty. So then I would have never met any of you, and I'd be a completely different person than I am right now.
Right.
Would that life be better than what I'm currently living? I don't think so, because I am so content with, not only content, I'm happy with the life I've built and kind of the dynamic of it.
Right.
And I wouldn't change that for the world. But when I say I won't change that for the world, I don't mean it's not gonna change. I'm gonna continue to like dive into these relationships. And again, if it's a thing where I slowly feel like I'm moving away or God's calling me elsewhere, I might leave Wisconsin one day. I don't know.
Right.
I might stop playing video games. I might stop streaming. Who knows? I'm not gonna act like I have my life all together or know exactly what it is that I would truly enjoy. But yeah. So
I think-
to answer long story short, my list isn't super big,
Right.
but it's a feeling that I need to have, and if I don't have that feeling, I can't fake it. So
Right.
I'd rather find the real thing than fake it.
See, I feel like that's where it, like, in my opinion, I feel like you will be successful when it comes to relationships. But I feel like I don't know if you run into a lot of women around your age, but cause I don't live with you, but I feel like we've had this conversation enough for me to be like, I think like you would do well in terms of like if you were actively looking for a good relationship, because you are well aware of the fact that like a relationship isn't me turning into you or you turning into me. It is us working together to build a life with each other, and that requires flexibility and understanding of each other. And so I think like I just feel like you there's a lot of, you're a very well thought out person, and so
I would call him wise beyond his years.
yeah, and so I really think like whenever you get to the point where you're like, okay, I want to actively look for a relationship, I want to actively take part, I'm not necessarily like going out, but like when you finally meet someone and you're like, okay, I think I actively want to pursue this, you're going to find that like the relationship aspect of it is, you're a lot better at it than what you.
Can I say something real quick too off that? Because I think I just, off of what you said, realized something else too.
Yeah.
I think another big thing on why I'm kind of waiting, or why it seems like it's happening slow or it's not happening, is I kind of look at people who are in college
Yeah.
and who don't know what they want to do and don't have like a life plan or like an understand where they want to go. It's kind of making me value people more outside of that sphere where they're already graduated, kind of like that 22 to 25 age where I'm like currently in, where they have kind of an idea of what they want to do with their life. It's a little more set in stone of like the direction where they want to go.
Yeah.
They're now actively following their faith outside of just like a Christian organization on the campus. It's
Yeah.
not just a thing their friends are going to, and it makes it more easier for me to kind of like work with that, or like
Absolutely.
get in that. And I would say a big thing with like college was, I'm not gonna look at people badly if they want to go out and party and participate in
Right.
culture, but I don't want to find my wife there.
Right.
And I could find a wife there. I absolutely could if I wanted to, but I just don't value that. And I feel like too, like with a maturity thing, I feel like there's very few women like in college right now that I've met or talked to or wanted to have relationships with that could get close to where I'd want them to be maturity-wise. I'm not saying they have to be as mature as me or more mature than me, but I think there's something with a little bit more age past like age 20 where they're an adult, they're on their own, they kind of have a direction.
Yeah.
Makes it a little easier to kind of like have those conversations I want to have, or like have those deep thoughts. And that's past just,
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of want to join a sorority, or
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that like that there is like in from what I see from you is like you prioritize making sure that you have not necessarily the career that you want to work at for the next 30 years, but you have a career. Financially, you're setting yourself up, right? And so you have the some of the biggest contributors to relationship failure ticked off, right? You're setting up the whole that you're about to start the process of moving away from your parents, right? And so you have that you're gonna have to tick off, which is not an easy process. It's not easy to move away from your parents, and I'm not talking about going to school where you come back all the time. Like for me, it took a very long time for me to recognize that the house that I currently live in is home versus the house I grew up in, right? And so you're ticking that off. And then there's also exactly what you said. There's like this period of like, and I don't know when it changed for me. I was never much of a partier to begin with, but there was this huge period where like my friends would be like, hey, we're gonna go to the clubs. And I remember like when I was 18 through maybe 21, 22, maybe even 23, I was like, yeah, dude, I definitely want to party. But then there was like a moment where like, and I don't know exactly what moment it was, but something clicked and I was like, nah, I don't want to, I'm good. And, having that ticked off and then recognizing that there are people that are going to do this until they're like in their 40s, I just can't even, is unfathomable for me. And I think that's another thing where you're like, I just want the person that I'm with to be mature enough to know that like there's a time to have fun, and then there's a time to like take care of things. And I think that's also another thing is like they need to intellectually be on the same level, emotionally be on like in a relative place as you, right? So
and I think too, like at least the way it seems like society for the most part operates when you said like with finances or like with like what people bring to the table when it comes to like dating. I kind of view like it seems like a lot of younger women in their early 20s or like their late teens
Yeah.
put a lot of value on their looks and how appealing they can be, and then we'll look for a guy who's like, let's say, financially successful, kind of ride on that, but they might have like their partying phase where they just want to participate in hookup culture, and then they realize like, hey, I need to get my shit together, or like marry rich guys and stuff. And I think for me at least, I view myself as super young still. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not putting like a timeline. Obviously, there's like time limits with what age you want to try to have kids. Like, you can't be 50 years old and then want to try to have kids and be like, hey, why isn't this working? It's
Right.
kind of, Mother Nature to a certain extent limits that, but I think for me at least, I don't view it as like every passing day it's going to get harder and harder.
Yeah.
I view it as every passing day I am working towards becoming a better person, or the person that I feel called to be.
Yeah.
And every single day that I don't find someone, I'm closer to finding that person. And there's almost this, I don't even know what word to like give it. The lack of the rush to find it
Mm-hmm.
almost makes like the chase of it better. Because when I tell you, like, this happened a lot in college, and I don't like talk about it all the time, but like there'll be people that like I'm in like a Christian group with, and like you just really vibe with the person, I will just start flirting like a madman.
Yeah.
And then like I start talking to them, and I'm like, oh, I don't really see a future of this person, or like I don't really like these aspects of that person.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pursue it any further. I'm not going to say anything, because like what do you say? I don't want to like be the person who comes in and be like, hey, I'm that Christian fuckboy who just flirted with 5 different girls in my Christian organization. Could have dated any single one of them, but I didn't feel like they would have fit my lifestyle.
Right.
I don't want to say that stuff, but sometimes I feel like it might come across that way. Or like when Scotty talks about it, he's like, oh, you talk to a girl in your Christian group? You fuckboy, Christian fuckboy. Go talk to all of them. I'm like,
I think the only question I have at that point is like, from my experience with the relationship I've had with Heather, there are plenty of things that Heather does that pisses me off, and vice versa, right? That I don't like, right? I find like is it things that you don't like?
no, it's the. Sorry.
No. Like I'm trying. I don't know how to say it. I don't know like the proper way of saying it. I'm hoping you're like
It's
kind of
hard for me
understanding.
to put it. I get exactly what you're saying, because everyone's obviously going to have things that you find annoying. And
Right.
again, I'm not saying that I'm looking for the perfect person.
Right.
What
Right.
I'm saying though is, I'm looking for my best friend.
Right. Okay.
And all the people that I've gotten close to in my Christian organizations,
Mm-hmm.
I don't view a lot of them as best friends. I view a lot
Okay.
of them as like brothers and sisters in Christ, friends, acquaintances. I don't view them as someone who could be my best friend. And you kind of know the way it takes to become like my best friend. Kind
Yeah.
of the circle that I keep.
Right.
And again, it's one of those things where I don't want it to come across as like a dick, but I feel like I can find what I say I'm looking for very easy, but for it to be true to what I want and true to what I feel like God wants,
Yeah.
it has to be legit and it has to come from Him. And like part of that too is realizing like even though I'm following my faith,
Yeah.
I still feel like there's more I could do, or like I don't know how to put it. The possibility that like as I continue to follow my faith, that opens up more avenues and more doors of like these people I could connect with is a
course.
thing that I've thought about a lot in the past year. Seeing how much I feel like I've grown as a person, and things that like I value in my life, or what I value in college, this is like being out of college.
Yeah.
And it's made me realize the older I get, the more genuine the friendships and the people are around me. And again, I feel like it just makes it easier to find.
Yeah.
And when I say easier to find, I don't mean makes it easier to find a wife, but it makes it easier to find those people who I can rely on. And I think this small group is a really good stepping stone for that. And then like being able to hang out with people outside of that, I'm starting to establish those connections, those close friends those
Yeah.
people I can like talk to about my life, where like I can really see these people even after like 2 weeks being a big part of my life in some way.
Okay. Cool.
So I don't want you guys to like feel like you have to worry about me like in that aspect. Like I feel like I'm good.
Yeah.
But I'll definitely let you guys know if it ever hits a
Right.
stuff where I feel lost.
Well,
But
I've never been worried. I was like, the dude's gonna figure it out. But I just know that like when you talk about it, I'm like, I just want to make sure I understand where you're coming from, and like as long as you feel like you're in control and you're good and you're happy with what you're doing,
Life.
yeah, like you're living your best. Cool. You gotta explain shit to me. You know. So like this is what I want to do. Bet, do it. But yeah, no. Well, I'll definitely. You ever need anything, I'm definitely gonna be here. So. But you sound like you got your stuff figured out. It's just I feel like it's like a matter of time kind of thing where it's like it's when it happens, and I'm ready for it. And if it's not the time or the right person, I'm happy to wait. I'm happy to wait, which is really rare in someone your age.
I was making a joke to Steven. I'm like, when I do find that person, I do get married. My thing was before, like, I was gonna have a hard time, like, matching the number of like people that I'd have like in my wedding party. Like, I feel like my wife would have like 5+, and like I had a hard time even thinking of like 3, whereas like I was gonna be throwing names on. And now it's like I'm to the point where I feel like I've gotten so much closer with so many different people, where it's like I want kind of everyone in my wedding party to like be a best man in some way. It is like that's how much like you guys mean to me.
I'm not even gonna lie. Inviting people to a wedding is one of the most difficult things I've ever done.
Dude, that sounds terrifying.
It was because like you run into people outside of your wedding and people that you like had decent relationships with, but like you weren't like crazy close to, but you had like decent relationships with, and you see them and you're like, hey, what's up? And then they'll be like, so how was the wedding? And you're like, I didn't get an invite. And they're not like being malicious. They're joking with you, right? Because they understand that people forget and that like you don't always talk, and you're just like, fudge.
Yeah, right. Like, how do you do anything with that? You're like, oh, ha ha ha.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And then you walk away and you're like, dang it. And so it's like, it's one of those, I don't know, inviting people. And I was horrible about that. So bad. I had probably 10 people that I saw over the course of like a year and a half after Heather and I got married that were like, yeah, so how was the wedding? Didn't get an invite. Like, yeah, I mean, it,
it's good.
yeah, it was great. And they just kind of look at you and you just look back and you're like, what do you want me to do now? Wedding's over.
Right.
I screwed up. I get it. So make sure you give yourself plenty of time, because I think Heather and I gave ourselves, I told Heather that we were not getting married until she was done after school, but we got engaged. So I think we were engaged for 3 years. But I was like, nah, you got to finish school first before we get married. I'm not doing that. Whoops. But with that said,
Dude, planning a wedding sounds like such a fucking nightmare. Like, I don't think I could do a wedding above like probably 30 people.
I just want to show up and have friends and family be there, and then
Literally.
I don't care about any.
I don't
of the other
care to
details.
invite my distant second cousin that I've seen 3 times in my life.
oh yeah, no, I had
Like,
so
I
many.
want the people that are important to me there. And
That's
kind
the
of
thing. Is I have a lot of family. Like my dad's side, I'm close to a lot of them. But on my mom's side, besides the title of family,
You don't know
it
them.
sounds bad, but like I don't really know. Like I'm so much closer with friends who aren't even my best friends, but they're just like baseline friends than I am
Yeah.
with a lot of like that side of the family. And I wish that was just more socially acceptable to be like, hey,
Dude,
I
like,
want this wedding to be just.
Well, then my
those
thing is
people.
too, like I have some like particular members of my family, like my little cousin, I love her to death. I
yeah.
wouldn't want my other little cousin, her brother, there. And then it's like, oh, do I need to worry about offending people with wedding invites?
Right.
Probably. And it's like, fuck, we just go to a fucking drive-through wedding. Like, get it
Yeah.
over with.
I had probably a month or two ago a cousin that passed away, and my dad texted us. He was like, "Hey, you guys be careful. Your cousin, one of your cousins, got shot the other day. Lubbock's crazy, and he died." And we were like, "Who? Because he didn't specify who it was. And we were like, "Crap, who was it?" And he was like, "It was this cousin from this part of the family." And I was like I remember sitting there, and I was like, I felt bad because I was like, I don't talk to that part of the family. I've talked to that part of the family maybe 3 times in my entire life. And so, like, I know I should feel sad, but I'm like, I don't care because there is no relationship. I don't know who these people are. And, it's weird because at least in the black community, like, family is like everything, and I'm sure that's a lot of the case for a lot of other races, but it's super, 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 like, prevalent, I guess. It's talked about all the time in the black community, and I'm not entirely sure why that is. Nonetheless, like, it's as if you're supposed to, like, love everybody and just be there for everybody. And there are certain people within my family that I'm like, I will do anything for you. I'll take a bullet for you, right? And then there's other people that, like, I don't know you. It's great that you're my dad's cousin, but I don't talk to you. And because I don't talk to you, if something goes down, do not call me because I won't be there. I don't know who you are, And the same goes for, like, friends. Like, you guys need anything, you call me up. I'm there. But
I don't know. I don't have the ability to, like, I really value, like, loyalty in friendships, I guess, and I don't have the ability to be that for that many people.
Yeah, it's taxing. It's too much. It's too much. And like, it took me a very long time. Like, for Heather, it took me a while, maybe 5 or 6 years before I was like, yeah, I'd take a bullet for her. I would do anything for her.
Okay, wait. I'm kind of curious about that. So, was that where you were engaged at that point, where you decided? Like, how did you guys go about getting close? Like, how did that end up working out?
So we met in our 7th grade science class, and I remember seeing her, and I was like, holy shit, that's the most beautiful girl I've ever seen in my life. And I remember being super shy, and we sat at the same table that day, and really I never tried to do anything outside of who I was, and she never tried to do anything outside of who she was, and we just kind of resonated in that regard. And then, like, it turns out, like, her mom used to work with my aunt, who I'm really close to. And so basically she would come to school for, like, 2 weeks. She came to school and would tell me stuff about me and my family that I had never shared with anybody. And I'd be like, what the hell is going on? And so there was, like, this really weird moment in the beginning where I was like, this girl's a stalker. I don't know anything about her. And so that, like, kind of, like, sparked my interest in her after I found out what happened. And then from there, it was just, we talked all the time. And then I got a phone. I got my cell phone. And she found out I got a cell phone. I didn't tell her that I got a cell phone because I was like, I'm too afraid to ask her for her number. And so I didn't tell her that I had my cell phone. And then when she found out, she gave me her number, and from there it was just, we just talked all the time. It's like the way that we talk in Discord is what we did on our cell phone, except we didn't have unlimited texting at the time, so I ran our bill way the fuck up. It was like the first month $100, and the second month was like $150, and my mom almost shot me.
Yeah.
My mom was like, have you lost your damn mind? And I was like, I didn't know that I had to pay for texting. And she was like, yeah, you do. You know now. I was like, so from there, that was basically, that whole process lasted about a year and a half. And then I still didn't ask her out. I knew that I liked her, still did not ask her out. And she basically told me, she was like, there's someone that should ask me out, is what she said. And I was like, okay. So I still didn't have the courage to ask her face to face, so I texted her. And from there, we dated in middle school for like a few months. We broke up and went to 2 different high schools. And we talked a little bit through freshman year. And then I basically I went to an athletic banquet with her, and I basically talked about another girl the entire time. I don't remember doing that, but like I do remember being like, yeah, I do remember being like very into this other girl at the time, and so like I wouldn't, like I'm sure I know for a fact I talked about her the entire time. Like I just don't remember any of it. And after that, we like didn't talk, and she ended up dating this other guy who was a basketball player, and I hated this guy because the summer before I found out they were dating, I went to a basketball camp that he was at, and he proceeded to beat the ever-living shit out of me in basketball, and it drove me insane. And I hated that. And so I found out they were dating, and I was like, no, this can't happen. And so from there, like, we just didn't talk, but I made it a point every time that I saw this guy, like every time we played basketball against each other, and every time she was there, I made it a point to absolutely embarrass this guy. And like, we've had conversations about it, and she was like, it was so embarrassing having to sit there and watch you dominate him. And I was like, thank you. And I can't remember exactly what happened, but I ended up tearing my ACL my junior year of high school, and I'm like sitting there in my living room, and my mom's like, did you know that Heather and Alex broke up? And I was like, no, I thought they were gonna get married. And my mom was like, I thought the same thing. And I think I texted Heather. No, what happened? I'm trying to think. We went to a PSAT like course, and oh yes, okay, it was over the summer. So this was before they broke up. We went to a PSAT course, and it was the first time I had seen her in, since freshman year of high school. And we like kind of reconnected that way. And then I tore my ACL. Then she broke up, and then like right after that, I shot her a text, and I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And from there, we've been together ever since. And so I don't know. We've had like our challenges of like stupid youth, kind of like looking at other people, and we've had conversations of like what it would be like if we were with different people. And then in terms of like being engaged and what that looked like, and like me deciding that I would take a bullet for her was probably somewhere in college. I just remember thinking about it, and because I remember like at a younger age I was like, I'm supposed to like love somebody to the point where I would be willing to die for them, right? Or at least that's how I felt about it. And I was like, but I don't feel that way right now. And it was like sometime in college, maybe a little after college. It had to have been after college because I had moved to LA, and she was in Galveston at the time, so we were like 25 hours away from each other. And I remember not seeing her ever. Like I think I saw her maybe 3 or 4 times that year. And I was like, I would die for this girl. I love her. Like there's plenty of beautiful women in LA, and I was like, but I'm not interested. Not even a little bit. So
that's surprisingly cute.
Yeah, and so and the thing is like I could have gotten with plenty of other women. I had opportunities. I had women come up and talk to me. I was like, I'm engaged. I'm good. Thank you though. And so I think that was like the biggest, like having her taken away or not being there was what made me realize that like I really do love this girl. Well, I guess woman at the time, but
what, like absence makes the heart grow fond?
Dude,
it's actually true.
Dude, it was one of the emotionally one of the hardest things I've ever done was not be with her, because I grew up. We grew up in the same city, went to the same schools. We were always with each other. When we got back together in high school, I ate at her grandmother's every day. So I was always with her. She would pick me up from school because I didn't have my license, and we'd go to her grandmother's. We'd eat dinner, and I'd hang out till maybe midnight, and then, which is kind of crazy to me that our parents let us hang out that late. Anyways, and so yeah, no, absence, not being near her sucked. It was horrible. And even today, like, we spend all the time with each other. Like, we're at the same house, and like, you know, there are moments where I'm like, I want to be in a different room. I don't want to be in the same room as you. But like, if I go on a trip or something without her, like 2 or 3 days in, I'm like, man, I want to be with my wife. And I don't know. I just think it's like, when you find that person, it's not, I don't think it's something that, like, I don't know. I think in my case is a little bit different, that I saw her and I was like, holy crap, I'm gonna marry her. I feel like that's super rare, and I was being super naive, but it just happened to be that we became really close friends. Is it Strauss Jr.? Yo. So, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of how our story happened and worked out.
Love is great.
It's so weird to me too, because I can look back on like a lot of my previous relationships, and like at the time, obviously, like I thought I was in love,
Right.
and then I look back, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing?
Yeah. And like, Heather and I separated multiple times, and we separated twice. Once in middle school, which we weren't in love then, obviously. But Heather was in college. I think she had gone on it was just after my freshman year of college, and she had gone on she had studied abroad in
Somewhere.
yeah, it was Nicaragua. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly. That place, and like somewhere else.
I think you pronounce it correctly. It's actually
Okay, well, that's that place, and there's like some other place, and we separated for like 2 months, maybe a month, and I could not bring I talked to another girl, or I ran into another girl, and I ran into her twice, and she was gorgeous, but I could not bring myself. I was like, no, I don't want to. I can't. I'm not in, like, she's not Heather. And so, and then like Heather and I can't remember what happened. I think I called her.
are people respectful of you being like, hey, I'm like interested in this other girl. Sorry, I can't.
I mean, maybe. I don't see that as a problem. It wasn't the, like, us being separated that made a problem. Like, or me feeling like I was betraying Heather. It was just one of those, like, I'm not interested in you. Not the same way that I was interested in Heather. Or I guess it's more of like, I simply don't want to. Like, Heather's the one I want to be with, kind of thing. And so, it also turned me off that the girl was like a Sarah Palin fan, and she just was, she was just not the,
No comment.
yeah,
She is her personality.
she just didn't seem very bright, which threw me off. Not, like if you like Sarah Palin, whatever, but sometimes she would talk, and I'd be like, I don't know if we align intellectually speaking. So
That's weird too, because I remember in high school, like, a couple of buddies that I would eat lunch with trying to convince me to, like, go to the strip club, go fuck a girl, blah, 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 and I was like, I'm not really interested. Like, I care a lot more about the emotional investment than, like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, sex is sex, and it's nice, but
oh
sex
yeah,
with someone
yeah,
that you actually have a connection with is, I don't know.
right. No, I get it.
As someone who hasn't had sex, I bet sex is great, but for me, like, I don't think it would, unless it was someone who you love, then yeah. But if it isn't someone you love, that compared to, like, having someone look at you like you're their whole world and want to know, like, all the little things about your life, but not only like want to analyze it, they want to like be a part of it and experience everything that like you are as a person.
Yeah.
That level of like love is just something that blew my mind that I was able to experience without being in a relationship, and the kind of like has set a certain like bar to like I know how my heart can feel being around someone who I don't see a future with.
But that's your other problem.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine like seeing a future with someone and feeling that love and like knowing those things. Cause like
Yeah, going from something like that to just kind of like your average run of the mill, like, oh, what's your favorite color kind of date.
it's
like,
so hard, man. It's so
like that.
hard. Like, bro, when I tell you, this girl, we weren't even dating, but we were comfortable enough with each other where she told me she wanted us to move to Texas to live with her family and like be in Texas. I probably would have been Oscar. I don't know where they live, but she like
Hey.
told me all the time how she wanted me to move down there, wanted me to meet her family, wanted me to like get introduced to them, wanted to start like a whole life together, like have kids, like this whole like she built a future up for us that sounded so great, and it was something that I wanted so bad. But
I just point out that you can have like commitment and connection with someone without the label of, oh yeah, we're dating.
yeah,
Wait. So what happened to this girl? If you don't mind me asking, I don't know if it's like a touchy subject.
no, I've talked about it before. I probably haven't deeply though, but it's the same girl who I was saying I wasn't gonna have sex with her unless I was dating, and I didn't want to date her because I was gonna be graduating high school within the year. We were in the same class. We've been friends for forever, but I never saw her as more than a friend. But as I slowly got to know her, and prom was coming up junior year, I need to ask someone. I thought, hey, I like might as well ask her. Like we're good friends.
Yeah.
I find her attractive, but like I don't really see like more else there. I asked her kind of like just to ask her, and that kind of like changed the whole dynamic where we started viewing each other as like, hey, there could be something here. And like when I tell you, even though I wasn't dating this girl or like we already talked about like not having a future together, after we talked about having a future together, when she came to my grad party and like we just sat down and talked, it was one of those things where there was tons of people at the grad party sitting all around us, but she was like the only person there.
Was this
And
college graduation?
high school.
High school. Okay.
High school.
Sorry.
And she, the way like when I talked, she would look at me, it made me feel like the luckiest man, and it made me feel like I was so important to her that like nothing else mattered. No problems that I was going through in life, situations I was in, but it was one of those things where we had such different life trajectories of where we wanted to go, and it just would have never worked, especially like with reality setting in that like, hey, even if we did want to make this work, we just found this out essentially end of junior year, beginning of high school, beginning of senior year, too little too late.
See, I think that's where we're different. I think I would have pursued that. I don't know what she's doing now, but
She's a raging left feminist who is anti-religion and is essentially looks at the white race as everything wrong with the world, when it was I'm used to being white and being accepted by her whole family to a point where it like was such an eye-opening thing to me that like changed my whole perspective on like culture and family, where I thought I wasn't ever going to be accepted, and I was, to then see it from the outside after her going to college for 1 year and how much that dramatically changed. Not only that, but the things she would like then lie about, like she would, it was almost like this score of points with her friends because she joined an Asian like community there on campus. So
Yeah.
it was a organization. They all had these stories about how they went to all predominantly white schools and how everyone was just racist all the time, saying the most vulgar stuff. and she wrote a huge long paragraph thing, not paragraph, page long thing, of all the things that like happened at her school when people like looked at her for a race or were being racist to her, and it was just so not true or what was actually happening, to the point where if anyone would have done that, they would have gotten their shit knocked in. Like, if anyone would have even looked at her wrong, half our class would have beaten the absolute shit out of her because we loved her so much. And it was just one of those things where I understood where she was trying to go with it and like fit in.
Yeah.
But part of it was just like, I didn't find it right that you had to like rewrite your whole experience. And like someone who did it like right was my buddy Stove, Andrew. He's black. His sister and him were both adopted by a lesbian couple, and have been in my hometown their whole life until obviously college. But he went from having literally all his friends be predominantly white to going to college at Illinois State and being able to experience different cultures and to kind of feel like he fit in.
Right.
And when he came back, there was a lot about him that like completely changed. His tone of voice, the way he talked, things he listened to, things he did.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where he felt like he was becoming the most genuine version of himself. It was like I was able to become friends with him all. And I loved it. He's still a good friend to this day, and I had him over at my bonfire a couple weeks ago. And like it was so cool because then he invited me to go to like a Mallards baseball game. And then even though I went my whole life knowing his lesbian mothers, that was the first time they ever really like opened up talking about like how hard it was growing up being lesbian at the time when no one accepted them and like all of that, and it gave me like a whole new perspective.
Right.
But like when he talked about it, he never lied about anything. He's like, yeah, I mean, like people would say racist shit, but like you don't even really realize it's racist shit until you leave, and then you come back and you hear the way people talk, or you see the way people treat you. And he's like, I just didn't appreciate a lot of like what I now value. I'm
Right.
like, that makes sense, and I could see it in friendships I have had. I could see it in like friend groups or school in general. It wasn't to the point where people were just like hard R in the N word, looking
Right.
useless, but it was definitely one of those things where it's like you could tell like without other influences, and it's just a bunch of fucking white folks in the Midwest, it's not going to be the same experience.
Yeah.
True that, true that.
I'm being chased by a drone. Are we good though? Interesting how things change, huh? It's weird. Like I understand. Like so, like my point guard in high school is dude was always dressed nice, listened to music, like great music, had great taste in like rap music and just music in general. He's super artistic, and he followed that, and like he's now an artist and stuff. But some of the stuff that he does and wears and talks about now is super weird. Like he wears like, they're not high heels, but they're like I don't know, platform boots. I don't even know what they're called. And he like rides bikes around downtown. He's high all the time, like stupidly high. Hair always has shades on. Hair is like greasy and like pulled back. It's really, whereas like in high school he always had like his hair was cut short, buzzed kind of. And was easy to talk to, but like now you talk to him and you're like, something's not all there. You're a little off. It's just interesting how, I don't know, I guess time and life experiences change people. Not that I expected them to stay the same, but it's just interesting.
I think that's another thing for me too when I do look back, because like I'd be lying if I said I never looked back at high school and like asked the question you asked me, where it's like, damn, like if I was in that situation I would have like, did it different, or I would have maybe like taken that chance sooner. It's like one of the things that I truly believe is like, even if I did take that chance and like we were together, I believe we truly would have became the people we were going to be anyways. we would have went separate directions, and it just would have taken more time to see that.
Yeah.
Because again, high school, you're limited to what's around you. So what I was limited to in high school, I feel like limited me to the person I wanted to be outside of high school.
Yeah.
And to think that the person that I valued in high school wouldn't also change into someone else or be completely who they want to be is also kind of hypocritical to think. So I think that's another reason too why college I view as a similar bubble where it's the same thing where depending on the colleges you go, I went to Whitewater, in the middle of the nowhere, cornfields.
Yeah.
Right? To think that's going to be the experience of the whole rest of the world in the United States is idiotic. To think like I had to find love of my life there, or find the bestest friends there, which I found great friends and some best friends.
Yeah.
But there's so much more out there, and it makes me want to explore more and to open up more and to see like what it is I truly value. Because that's another thing too. It's like people do that with jobs.
Yeah.
You might have the perfect job in the world that suits you, but it's in a different state. Okay, are you willing to travel that state?
Right.
You might have the perfect girl who follows her faith and likes soccer and does these things, but she might live 200 miles away. Like,
Right.
is that something you would value to go there if there's the right person? Or vice versa, that person might be in the town you live in, but you might have to relocate if they get like a job opportunity elsewhere, or you feel called to go somewhere else. Is that something you're willing to do? And
Yeah.
life obviously is going to give you a bunch of hard times and difficult things to decide, but I truly believe if you go in with the right heart and you question why you're making your decisions, you really think them through, things will happen.
Yeah.
It's always interesting to me too that people seem to have this idea that like there's what 7-8 billion people in the world, and the love of your life is just going to be like your next door neighbor or something.
I heard a pastor talk about that where he was saying how when people talk about like God gave them the love of their life that like was meant for them and they couldn't imagine anyone else, and he kind of like put it like differently. He's like that's something that he had to build over time. He's like there could have been 500 other people who could have met that quality and you could have felt the same way about.
Yeah.
But like part of that is like where you are, right? Location. Part of that's what you're choosing to follow, when you choose to follow. Like there are some people who like, in terms of like their faith, will go their whole life being like, let's say atheists, and when they're 25, decide to like follow Christ for the first time, and then the way they viewed the world or want to interact in the world completely changes, and then that opens up avenues where they might find the love they never would have found elsewhere.
Heather and I have talked about that aspect of like she is not the only one for me and I'm not the only one for her, that there could have been a huge number of others. Yeah, with the amount of people that there are on this planet, there's thousands of other people that I could have ran into or gone, built a relationship with and started a family with, and which is very, very, very weird, very interesting to think about. And then you look back, or I guess, but like then you recognize you're like, but I chose you, and vice versa, you chose me.
I think in a way though, even though you might have the right intentions behind saying this is the only person who could have ever been for me.
I don't think that can ever possibly.
I don't think it can be true, but also I think it puts like this perfection pressure on the relationship where it's like unless it's perfection, you're not living up to what you think it is. When in reality, it's like two imperfect people came together, enjoyed each other's presence, got to know each other, valued what each other valued, loved their flaws, loved them for who they are, and have decided to now try to start raising a family with each other. I think too, out of like a jealousy thing, I think it's like idiotic if you're attracted to the person that you're with and vice versa, to think that there aren't other people in the world who might be attracted to them, or vice versa, and like act like it doesn't exist. Like the people who are like, do you find this girl attractive? Or like, obviously there's questions like that happen in relationships where obviously you're not going to say in front of your girlfriend, yeah, that girl's fucking super hot, I want to date her instead of you, let me see if I can go to talk to her. But it's one of those things where it's like, what do you
Yeah,
expect?
don't do that.
Like a person, like you're not
Yeah,
going to be
you don't
attracted
get
to
into a
anyone else
relationship
better.
and stop finding people attractive.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a choice. Like,
there's a respect. There's a
yeah.
respect thing with it, but
Yeah,
like,
don't sit there and
come
stare
on.
at a girl's ass for a fucking half hour with your girlfriend TV preview.
yeah.
You don't.
Same thing.
You will always find someone attractive. It's what you do with that attraction. That's where the problem, I guess, in a lot of people say, like, if you cheat, it's the fact that you decided, you know what, this attraction is more valuable than the relationship I have with whoever it is that I have it with.
And that's the thing too that scares me with, not me in the sense of like I want to make sure I pick the right person. 'Cause I can't even one better out there in a relationship. But I know how badly it wrecked my dad with his relationship with his dad when his dad abandoned the family
Mm-hmm.
and did that. That it puts so much more emphasis on like how much I value family. That the
Right.
person I'm with, like I want them to value family. I want them to like see a future with me where we raise a kid and we're on similar pages. Like we're not always gonna like be 100% on every single decision, but like it's teamwork. We work together, kind of like you're talking about. You're like, I can't imagine having sex with someone, especially someone you love or that you're married to or that you're engaged with or you're dating, and not potentially be excited or not expect the opportunity that they might get pregnant or you might have a kid with them or that you
Yeah.
might be a father.
That's
And-
weird to me, but I'm out on that one. I'll admit.
But I think
when it
you're.
comes
It's
to-
different because you're in a place where you're like, I'm not ready for a kid,
Yeah.
and you're not in a. I don't know. Are you in a serious relationship?
Nope.
Okay, so
College.
all right, so you're not in a serious relationship. Like with me, how do you get into a relationship or get into a serious relationship, and not think of the possibility like if you're going to be sexually active, there might be a kid that comes, and in those moments, if you do have a kid that comes, you then make the conscious decision to be like, man, after everything you've tried everything, adoption, abortion, if that's something that you believe in, right? If you make those decisions or you finally you don't make those decisions for whatever reason, and the only option left is that for you and your significant other or the person that you're having the child with is to raise a kid, that you're just like, nah, I'm not going to be an active parent within this. I just can't wrap my head around that. So
Yeah.
but like it just because for me that child for me didn't have a choice, and to neglect raising that child because whoever it is decided that they are not after making the decision to be an adult and have sex, to then be like, no, I don't want to be an adult now. It just that it makes me feel like you're a piece of shit at that point, because that child doesn't like either find a way to have that child taken care of, but that child shouldn't have to wonder where mom or dad is. That child shouldn't have to worry about like, why am I living with grandma or aunt, I don't know, Aunt Cynthia? Why aren't my parents taking care of me? Like it's such a horrible situation in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean that fucks the child up like for life.
Yeah. So like if you're gonna have sex and you're gonna have it unprotected, make sure that you're mentally in a space. Because like my brother, like when my family found out that I was sexually active, they were like, so what if you have a kid? And I was like, I'm gonna take care of my kid. They were like, what? And I was like, I know what happens when you have sex. So if we get pregnant, Oscar's gonna be there for a child, despite what may happen with the relationship between, me and Heather. So I just can't like, and maybe I'm I'm a little different in the fact that like I'm really excited about being a dad, but I don't know. Real weird for me for someone to be like, nah, I'm not gonna be there. Mom or dad can take care of child, and if they need me every now and then, I'll come over. Like what?
Yeah. That. Yeah. True.
And I think there's also a deep fear of like my kid not wanting to be like, I've seen stories, and I mean in Sky's case where he's like, I don't like my dad.
Yeah, that would kind of like crush you
That crushes me.
as a parent.
Crushes me. Just the thought of that, it like makes me sick. I'm like, nah, bro, I can't have that. There's no way. I refuse. I don't need. We don't have to be best friends, but I want my child to be able to come to me and be like, yeah, Dad, this is what I'm going through. This is my experience. Like, can you help me? like comfortable enough to like trust in the fact that I'm going to be able to guide them in a healthy manner, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot to this whole parenting thing.
It's a big deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For most people, it's the biggest thing they'll ever do in their life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It actually, I think like if it's not, I get worried. Like, you know what I mean? If parenting isn't the most, if it's not the hardest, most rewarding thing you've ever done, I don't know. I find it hard to like, because you're not like, from what I've been told, like when you look at your child, you're looking at yourself, and that's terrifying in and of itself, because if you want your child to be better, you have to be better. Your child just doesn't, in most cases, isn't just going to actively be a better person. They're going to learn from you. And so if your child is doing something stupid, it's probably because you did something stupid. And they were like, oh, this is okay. I can do this. You know what I mean? Which is really, really scary and weird to think about. And I think I saw it on TikTok where this mom, she just broke down crying. She was like, this is the hardest thing I've ever done. And she's like, it terrifies me because I see all the good that my kid does, and I see all the bad that my kid does, and both come from me. And I was like, oh my gosh.
The thing that has really freaked me out, like, as an adult, like, thinking about myself,
Yeah.
is I can track basically every single one of my traits.
Oh yeah.
The one of my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of
100%.
nuts, actually.
I get, like, my competitive nature comes from my dad. And my dad will deny it to the moon. He'd be like, your mom was a swimmer and was an athlete, and my mom was she swam, but she was like my mom was always like very laid back and like, if you want to do it, do it. If you don't, don't. And I think that's definitely where I get my like laid back kind of self. My dad is also pretty chill in regards to that, but he's super, super competitive. My mom has explosive anger. Like out of the blue, explosive anger. I have explosive anger. Just very, very, it's terrifying how we are spitting images of our parents.
Yeah.
And it feels like every time you want to fight that, you're like, no, I'm not going to be like that. I'm the closer or the more like them you become, you know? At least that's how I feel. Like in my case, that like every time I'd be like, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. Someone's like, yeah, but you do that all the time. I'm like,
Yeah, I mean, you have to be able to get out somewhere. Like,
Yeah.
eventually you can become your own person. But holy shit, is it harder than I ever thought it would be.
Oh yeah, it is insanely hard.
Well, that puts so much then value on then how you learn, because to a certain extent then you know the same thing is going to apply to them, where the way you raise them is really going to shape the person they become. So
Right.
if they become someone that you don't like, or someone who's like very troubled, or you can kind of point that back to like, but you raised them the way you are.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, kind of, I don't know if it's, I can apply it to Scotty's dad, because Scotty's dad's dynamic's a little different. I don't know how Scotty's grandpa is his dad's dad, but I know for my dad, because his dad cheated on his mother, left the family and started a whole nother family outside of their family and never was around. That made my dad not only want to repeat that, but put so much more emphasis on family unit, the value of family, being not only there but actively involved and appreciating the time you do have with those around you.
Right.
But also then with friends too. He's very much to the point where he has very few friends in his life. The ones who are there are super close to him. When it comes to then like faith, my parents very much pushed faith on me at a very early age. It was a part of the beginning of their marriage and the rising of us like as a family.
Yeah.
When it comes to like financial security, I very much get that from my dad. When it comes to wanting to people please everyone, I get that from my mom.
Right.
When it comes from wanting like that family unit and that future with someone, it comes directly from both of them, and seeing how they were together as a family and as a couple
Yeah.
makes me kind of want that in a relationship as well, where they're each other's best friend. They
Right.
love each other. They're there for each other no matter what. They say the hard things when they need to be said. They don't run from the conflict, but they allow the conflict to never get too out of hand, where they can address problems in a way that they both understand. They
Yeah.
know each other's love languages. They know what each appreciates. They know when some of the times there needs to be a distance. They know when they're right. They know when they're wrong. But most importantly, if my mom is wrong, my dad will still defend her in front of me, even if I feel like my mom's wrong. He will take that position of, hey, don't talk back to your mother like that. Don't say that.
Yeah.
When it comes to me having to get the last word a lot of times, get that directly from my dad. My dad, no matter what someone else says, will always have to have the last word, and it makes it very hard for me to like have intense conversations with him because I feel like I'm not truly being heard. I
Yeah.
feel like I have to kind of just sit there and hear him out, and then hope he allows me the time to like explain myself. And that's something that then I try to not replicate, but if I do, I try to put in times where it's like, okay, let me truly hear what this person's saying and not assume.
Right.
So, but now, Scotty, what is your grandpa like, your dad's dad?
Oh, Scotty, hey.
I didn't realize he was here. I saw his name.
I don't know. When my dad was young, he used to tell me how his dad would beat the shit out of him all the time. He'd always beat the kids. The only one he wouldn't beat was the daughter, but my dad used to always get his ass beat. Mom was a crazy Christian. Like, my dad was never given anything in his life because he had to work for literally everything. Now his dad is like just like the sweetest person ever. So it's like kind of funny just hearing him say these stories, and then whenever I see him, I'm like, how could this
Yeah, how
man
people
be
change with
such a
age so
tiny
much.
girl?
I've seen that with my dad.
And
Yeah.
like, my dad's like, I would never lay a hand on any of you because of what my dad would do to me and my brothers. But then I'm like, thinking in my head, but then you're also not being an actual dad either by, doing stuff with your kids and like hanging out with them because you're working all the time. His dad worked all the time too. The only thing that my dad just doesn't do is beat the shit out of me.
That's
Do you
interesting.
Do you feel the lack of your dad having to work for everything and not getting anything in hand made him choose to value being able to provide you guys stuff as a way to like fix that, and then maybe went too far the other direction where he valued too much giving you guys things instead of being there?
Probably.
That's interesting. Your grandfather's like my grandmother. I have like horror stories about my grandmother, but she's the nicest lady I've ever met.
That's what I hear too about like my grandma when she was alive. My mom's like, yeah, she was the biggest bitch. I'm like, nicer to me than you were.
Yeah, like it got to the point where like my grandfather had to tell my grandmother to stop hitting the kids because she kept like breaking glasses and stuff, and he was like, we can't afford more glasses. You keep breaking them. Stop hitting the kids so hard. But then like my dad, like some of that fell down to my dad because like, and my mom, like in both cases, like me and my siblings were almost taken away from my parents, right? By CPS because like they used to beat the shit out of us. Though I feel like probably a lot of it was kind of warranted. I don't know, maybe not. But, no,
I don't know that could ever be warranted.
Well, like
when you're a kid, you can't process it. You can't like deal with it.
I never thought that like I was getting beat. I always thought I was getting an ass whooping. Like it was never it was never in my mind like, oh man, I'm getting I'm getting beat up. Like there are a few where I'm like, damn, like that one was rough. Like the tree switch one, I don't remember that whooping. I just remember picking out the switch. And so maybe there's like some of the really bad ones. Like my brain was just like, nah, we're just not gonna remember this moment because I remember most of my whoopings. I don't remember that one at all. But
Wait,
like
Scotty, I have a question for you. Is he here still?
probably.
Do you remember a lot of your childhood, or did you just block a lot of it out?
I like to block out that because of my spiritual interactions that I had as a kid.
Makes sense.
Has he told you about his childhood with that, Steven?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure I told you a little short thing about the Demon Lord.
Yeah, a little bit about that.
Dum, dum, ba-da-dum. Childhoods are really interesting. And then you like look at like Hollywood movies and you're like, man, that's their childhood was great. And then you recognize that like probably 1% of the population has a childhood like what you see in a movie.
Yeah, right. How many people do you know that have had childhoods that are so like incredible?
I don't.
Yeah, none that I talked to actively that are like, yeah, we didn't have our problems.
I don't think there's no such thing as a perfect childhood. There isn't.
No.
It's like, what's a perfect life?
Right.
Like everyone thinks about like, oh, what's a perfect life? What would you do if you didn't work or have like the current problems you have now? And then when people achieve that, they're never truly happy. They
Yeah.
might value
A lot
like
of
the
it
free
is
time they have.
growth.
Yeah, a lot of it's growth. So to expect people who like, let's say, never raised children before to then not know what the hell they're doing in a time where even social media to compare and everything, everyone's kind of either going off of what their family did, either replicating it or doing the opposite. There's
Right.
really nothing else. But like what I was saying, I don't know which one.
Rainbow Toad Gaming, where's the ocean monument?
Um,
It's right here.
I might have been Steven. Steven, did I mention something to you about like how? What was I even gonna say? I just blanked. What were we talking about? Raising children.
Yeah. That
Yeah. With social media, one of the reasons why I
that
want
was
children to have social media or like really have a phone until they were older is because I feel like you could have a childhood where, let's say, you don't give them a lot of luxurious stuff because let's say you're a family that doesn't have too many means.
But I need glass right now, so I'm working on getting
But
those.
you can do, let's say, the bare minimum in terms of giving them stuff, but that might be the whole world to them. Or you might take them to the park, and that's equivalent to
Yeah, it's pretty
someone else
dope.
having a week-long vacation in Mexico.
I like it.
To them, that's
I'm
the
happy.
whole world because that's all they know. But if they constantly have a phone that has social media that they can compare to what all their friends are doing, like all the luxurious vacations, how many times they
Hi,
go
how are
to
you?
Disney World, all the things, can build this like false premise, and a lot of times like a reality that's not necessarily
Alright,
true.
let's
And, like,
go
one
get
of
more
those for me
glass
is
because I gotta
my
continue
parents
lining the
didn't
wall.
really bring us on too many vacations for like spring break. Like every single year, one of my friends on my soccer team would go to Disney World every single year, and it got expensive. They were able to do it.
So I stopped draining out the ocean right now because I
Compared to
want to.
us,
I need all
water
this sand to
parks or
continue doing what I was doing in terms of draining out the
And
ocean.
I
So
remember, like,
I figured I'd put in all the
it's cool to go to
glass,
Disney, even though I
and then
don't
I'd take
Disney
down
fan back
all
then.
the
I
sand,
love
and then
Disney,
I'd
don't
start
get me wrong,
lining
I
the
was
ocean
big
with it.
fans of a lot of, like, the
I feel like
rides and
that's the
stuff.
best course of
But
action, but I'm not
I
100%
looked at it
sure.
as,
I'm just
like,
kind of
why
winging
don't
it at this
we
point.
Get to do that stuff, and my dad kind of said one day, like,
Let me
"Oh, Dad."
let me do something really
I
quick.
kinda, like, asked him about that. Like, after college.
So,
He was like, I hope you realize, like,
how's your day been?
the sacrifice we chose. to make,
Where am I
like,
going?
these applications and stuff allowed us to save extra money to help
I'm
you
going
with
down here.
college education, where you didn't have to worry about going into debt right after you became an adult. That's something that we realized the value of how much an education costs and having to work back that debt when we didn't have the money ourselves. And also too, it's like we hope that's something you would pass on to your children, where like you provide for them in certain ways to potentially give them better
Boom,
opportunities down the line. Even
boom.
if short term seems like a little bit of a setback.
Bum, bum. You're doing good. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it.
Crazy to me that they're like
Do you play a lot of Minecraft, or do you just watch YouTube?
philosophy experts practicing.
Really?
They totally are.
No, I'm saying it makes sense. Like I'm finding that crazy.
Really? I mean, you would think humans have been around for so long, we would kind of come up with like a standard model.
So what do you judge it off of? For like a super faith-filled like, family who maybe wants to build it around going to church, compared to a family who doesn't value religion or like that community at all, who wants to be isolated, or a family that really values being with family. Maybe you live with other like family members that are extended family. You're growing up with like cousins and stuff in the household. Compared to someone else who maybe like moved. to
Ooh,
a
nice.
You have no friends and family.
What's your favorite thing about Minecraft?
So like, there's just a lot of different ways you can choose to raise kids.
You
And
play on your
it might
phone?
be
Yo, that's
different
sick.
to give you
I forgot that you could play on your phone. That's
being
crazy.
able to like, let's say provide college connection. Being able to like raise that.
Alright, right
So,
here.
but if someone's love language is like something more of like quality time or spending money on things and going on vacations, that might be the best way they show their love is by through things.
So I've never thought of this before. I assume love languages are created in childhood, right?
Probably.
'Cause I mean, like, love languages are things that you like receive.
You love the ocean monument? Why is that?
Or like stuff that you never received.
I don't. I think it could be a mix of both. But when I think of love languages, I used to always think of it as like, oh, for your significant. Love languages really apply to everyone around you, including family. So, if you're in an environment where you
I don't need that.
you lack a certain thing, like someone's not giving you that love,
I need the sand.
you might have a love language for that that's something you never had.
I'm a little
Also,
sleepy.
you might get a lot of something and appreciate that love that they get from that, and you want that in a relationship. I think
Have you built?
some people feel like
Have you made a guardian farm before?
what they lack,
Wait, what?
they will then want to make up for. I think girls, what they get from their dad, or potentially what they're absent from their dad, they want to fill that too. But like,
I've never made one. This will be the first time that I've ever made one, and this is the first time I'll
daddy's
have ever drained a entire ocean.
activities.
Oh, because you like the monument? Okay.
Insane.
I really like some of the blocks. I used to not like the blocks, and so I never drained
It's like a whole
the area and made a guardian farm. But I started looking at it today, or not today, when I started this world, and I was like, you know what, we're gonna do it. And
it's like they are
the more that I look at the ocean monument, and the more that I look at the blocks that it can produce, the more I like the blocks that it produces. And so, so I have this is, and then obviously around the ocean monument, this is going to be a it's going to be a mega build, so it's going to be a massive mega build that I have in my head. On your Xbox 360? Oh, sick. Yeah, I have to admit that draining out a ocean monument has to be the most tedious thing I've ever done in Minecraft. It's not the most fun.
Well, you chose to do it.
Yeah, no, I've never done it though, so. And that's one of the reasons I've never done it is because I know it's super tedious, but I really like the blocks. Like the blocks are growing on me, so I'm excited about doing it this time. Yeah. He said, "Oh, yeah." And so the hopefully, I mean, this is I'm not going to finish this build anytime soon, but the goal is to have a dope Minecraft base, one that I can be proud of because I've never actually finished one of my bases. So, and I don't know, each and every day I get a little bit closer. All right. So now I can't do anything. Go ahead.
If it makes you feel bad though, I had bacon.
Speaking of bacon, I'm gonna make some food. I'll go
No, I love bacon. Actually, I don't like bacon as much as I used to. What's up, Reed? Yeah, no, bacon has grown over me over the years, or has like not grown on me, has become less and less delicious over the years. Yeah, as I get older, I used to eat tons of bacon as a kid, or I could eat tons of bacon as a kid, and now it's like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 slices of bacon or pieces of bacon. I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of all you need.
It's just it's such a flavorful, I guess, cut of meat that I'm just like, it's too much.
That's fair.
All right, I don't have enough glass to continue working on my build.
I guess you have to fill in sand now.
Yeah, I guess it's time to take out some sand. I just need to make sure I have enough room in some of these shulker boxes, but
Oh please, you have enough shulker boxes.
I don't have any room in any of my shulker boxes.
Well, maybe you should get a bigger storage.
I don't know if I need a bigger storage. You know what? We're gonna go put all this stuff in our storage downstairs, and that will take care of that. Yeah, because these are just tools and diamonds and stuff. Let me take this out and my food, and this all has a place downstairs. And I can put my tools in here. I subscribed to you and liked. I appreciate that, Rainbow. I appreciate that, dog. Welcome. I don't even know what I'm gonna call ourselves, but that's love right there. Dun dun dun.
I like his name.
I'll
I
start
like
on here.
Remember when you spent all that money to bought those animal emotes on Twitch?
Yeah, I mean, I still may use that. I don't know. I still like those emotes. I don't know.
Did you spend money to make emotes and then not use them?
Yeah, so I got affiliates on YouTube, and I don't know, I've been an affiliate on YouTube for on Twitch for like 2 years or something. And I went and spent money on getting some really nice emotes done, and then I just didn't use it. I used it for a little bit, and they're like really, really nice emotes. I just haven't done anything with it. So I'm not happy with how Twitch has gone about running their website, and so I just haven't used it. But I could use the emotes here on YouTube. I just don't know how. I need to look into that. Which is, I may still do that, but because the emotes are dope. I don't know though. We'll see. But I probably spent $100, $150.
Really?
Yeah, I spent a good amount of money. Okay, this all goes into that. Dude, my nose is itching. What the heck?
It's shit.
Yeah. But then I also changed my name to Frostbite, and I am thinking about, like, I don't know, all the cool things that you can do in terms of emotes and like overlays and stuff for that. And like my favorite animal is a snow leopard, so like I don't know, there's some options to play around with, I guess. And
Cool favorite animal to have.
yeah, no, it's not. It used to be like a dolphin, and then I saw a snow leopard, and I was like, what is this? And I was like, that's my favorite. Like, I don't know, there's just snow leopards in general are just, they're such a sick animal, and it's sad because they're like on the endangered list, I'm pretty sure. And I don't know, they're just really, really cool animals.
You should like quit your job and go save them.
You know what?
Give up on life and just
Yeah.
live in Antarctica or something.
No, they live in like Asia. They live in the Himalayas, and yeah.
Yeah, just go like, don't even fly over there. Just go take a boat.
I'll do that. The Guardians sound cute. That might be the most interesting take on the Guardian sound that I've ever heard. I would much rather listen to someone scrape their nails across a chalkboard than listen to the Guardians in this game. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so think about that, and then think about what a Guardian sounds like. It's horrible. It's horrible.
What do they do to you?
They sound disgusting, and it's a horrible sound. I don't know who. Yeah, no, it's just a bad sound in my opinion. That's what they did to me. Iron, and then my diamonds. Diamondes. You can go over here. I should sleep now. We got shulker boxes to remove sand, guys. This should be fun. Wait, hold on. What was I doing? Oh no, I'm gonna grab my gold really quick. You said LOL. Oh. I can't stand that sound. I don't know if you're trolling or not, but if you actually enjoy that sound, you're a better person than I am because it hurts me. It causes me physical pain. Okay. Time to remove sand? I think so. What's the best way of doing this? I think the best way is just laying these out here. Oh wait, I do have glass. Oh wait, no, I do have glass, but it's not full yet. That's right. Right. It is also like the sound of 300 of those nether pig. Wait, the piglins. Oh, those riding. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Those things are gross too. Yeah, listening to those things is horrible as well. I must admit. I forgot to put the copper in the. Do I need the spyglass right now? No.
You always need it. You're a pirate.
You always need it because you're a pirate. Right. I don't need it.
What would Captain Jack Sparrow say about it?
Honestly, he would have a watch before he had a spyglass, I feel like. I don't need that either. I can keep these two tools on me mainly because I have to.
You would be right, Oscar. But one thing he would have always, 2, 3,
You're right. Do I play Roblox? No, I've never played Roblox.
Roblox for like kids.
I thought so, but I know a lot of people play it, so I don't know, maybe not.
I just remember like my cousin being very excited about like whatever their currency is, like some giveaway or something.
Really? Yeah, no, I've never played it. Guys, I saw that there's a new coffee drink at Starbucks. Now, I'm not a huge Starbucks fan, but I love fall/winter, and I want to kind of try them. But I don't want to pay for them, you know what I mean? I should try the game.
have your wife pay for it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we share the bank a bank account, so it's. I mean, whether she pays for it or I pay for it doesn't matter. But
I mean, you just feel better when she pays for it,
you know, I don't really, honestly, I don't really care. Like, it doesn't matter to me who pays for it, if I'm being honest. As weird as that may sound. Because I guess we've had a joint bank account for so long.
If she pays for it, you can just tell yourself it's free. Even if it's a
What? But our bank account's connected, so it doesn't like. Okay. Sarthug, what's up? How are you? Welcome.
Also, you just have to pretend that you don't have any brain cells.
Okay.
That's really hard.
Oscar, I have no brain cells.
You said I'm supposed to pretend like I have no brain cells, which I.
Because you said okay. Look, so Oscar was talking about some like Starbucks fall coffee collection or some girly ass shit. I don't know. And
Oh, you like it.
I really want to try it, but I don't want to pay for it.
Right.
I was like, yeah, then just get your wife to pay for it. We have a joint bank account. I was like, yeah, just pretend.
Right.
Get one for your wife, and then get like a smaller one for yourself. But I don't want to give it a try. Lady said it was good. Thought I'd get you potentially an extra one. You're like, no, honey, you can have it. You're like, oh, sweet.
Oh my.
Yeah,
You're crazy.
How he never ever wants to cook or do anything.
Yeah.
Last night, I can imagine he goes and gets her one. She takes a sip. She's like, "This is fucking terrible," and then Oscar's stuck.
Yeah, Oscar's stuck with the drink he wants. How horrible.
Right. I'm fine. What about you? I'm doing well. Can I friend you if I play Roblox? If I ever play Roblox, I will friend you. But I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you. The chances of me playing Roblox is so low. What?
Set up a donation goal on stream.
Yeah.
What?
And then to play games called.
I haven't set up any donation stuff because I told myself, and I won't set up donations until I hit 1,000 subscribers.
How far away are you?
Like 700.
Shit.
Yeah, I'm a good ways away. But I told myself that, like, because I've always felt weird about setting up donations, because there's this stigma now that like people get into streaming for money, and I'm sure that is true, but I don't know. I just like to stream, and if I make money from it, cool. How much time have you spent till now? Are you talking about like in Minecraft days or like in real life time? Because I can tell you both.
I mean, are we talking about Minecraft, or are we talking about like how old you are, how many days you spent on Earth?
Oh, geez. Yeah, I don't have that answer.
I think he meant how many days are you?
In Minecraft, I'm on day 672. In terms of how many hours I've played like 150.
That's a shit ton.
I think 150. We are on, let's see, time played. We're on 6 days, so 6 times 24 is what? I don't know. I'm not good at math.
6 times 24.
Yeah.
Isn't that just 72 times 2?
I don't know, maybe.
144.
144. There you go. There's your answer. Tell you 144 hours. There you go. This is why you.
Like 150, right?
Yeah, I was close.
Yeah, you were close.
Like I bought because I checked it the other day and I was like, I know I'm somewhere around here. This is why it pays to have good friends, guys. You don't actually develop friendships for the relationship. You actually use them so that you can like get math and stuff done. Oof, you deserve much more subs. Ah, that's very kind of you to say. Maybe I do, maybe I don't.
Oscar, you deserve much less friends.
Yeah. When you find out I'm just using you.
I'm used to it. So
Oh, okay. Jeez, that sounds so sad.
I like being treated like an object, so.
Okay. Oh my gosh. You know what I was watching the other day? I was watching the Power Rangers. There's a live stream on YouTube of like different Power Ranger seasons. And Dino Thunder, maybe? I don't know which one it was. I just like I couldn't help but like sit there and think like dinosaurs when I was a kid, or I mean Power Rangers when I was a kid was lit. And I'm watching it now and I'm like, dude, this acting is so bad that it hurts me.
Dude, okay. So there is this show that I have been looking for over a fucking decade now.
What is
That
it?
I used to watch when I was a kid.
Yeah?
And it was about like, I think it was Hot Wheels or something.
Okay.
These guys like went into this other world and drove around cars.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
They would find like these weird ass power ups and they would fight with some other faction over it.
Oh my gosh. There was a movie about it where they like there was like this circle, right?
Yep.
And they like exploded these rings and they have to jump through these rings and holy crap, that's weird. I saw that as a
I cannot find the name.
I don't know the name either. That's crazy. Don't die? You don't want me to die? I mean, I've died quite a bit. Let's see here. How many deaths do I have? I think I have like 15 or 20 or something like that. Like I have a lot of deaths. Wait, did I miss it? Hello? Player kills 0. Number of deaths 28. Ooh, God bless.
Sorry, I was cutting strawberry up.
I just couldn't tell what it was.
If I made a video of every 100 days, you would have gotten much more subs. I probably would have, but I'm not even gonna sit here and lie. It is, but I hate making YouTube videos. My personality fits streaming so much better. I don't know. I don't hate making YouTube videos in terms of like I hate sitting there and like thinking of a video. It's like I get really bored with sitting there and editing things out. And so like sitting here for like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or an hour working on a video is very tedious for me, and so I struggle with doing that. My goal now is to change it to like every 100 hours that I play. So that would be like a video once every like maybe 2 weeks. Maybe not that. I don't know. Let's see.
have you guys ever watched Big Bad Beetleborgs?
Yes. Beetleborgs. You can find that on Netflix. It was like another form of Power Rangers, but not Power Rangers.
It was bad. I feel like.
let's see, 200 times. Okay, so if I did, it would take me basically a month. So like one, not quite a month, but like a little, maybe like every 3 weeks, I'd be able to put out a video, which would be a little bit better than what I'm currently doing. But because, and then I've also thought like, because I'm working on such a massive base, I don't know if it's worth making a video once every, 100 days or something. Because I'm literally, the next like 3 months is going to be worked on, replacing all this sand and putting it, making it glass.
Show like your progress. You don't have to have like an hour video of you just removing sand.
Project based instead of time based. Like if you're doing a project with sand, show like the before, what it looked like at a certain day.
Yeah. I mean, I do record every stream, so I've been recording every stream since I posted my first 500 days, and I'm gonna update that as soon as I can. But this is kind of, I'm still playing with the idea of like how I'm gonna approach YouTube videos and that sort of content.
Plot twist.
Why don't I be like Etho? Do what?
You don't want to approach YouTube?
No, I do. I just don't like the idea of like posting the same content of like making 2 videos of me doing this same thing, but I guess people might enjoy like seeing an update. I've never really thought about it like that. What's the radius of the circle? So where the sand is 304. So all the way across from so I think it's 302. 302 from like where the glass is all the way across. It's a massive circle. This thing's huge. Maybe a little too big. But yeah.
If you shared a community with a different Minecraft streamer, whose community do you think you would like relate the most to, or like your content would be closest to?
There's a guy, I can't remember his name. It's something, and he just sits there and cracks jokes the entire time. And I feel like if I could replicate anyone's like and make my content similar based off of my personality, it would be his. I think Dream does a little like I think his stuff is cool, but I don't think Dream's funny. I just think he makes really interesting content. He's really good at making like captivating content. But there's I can't remember the guy's name, but it's something. C-Nanners is also hilarious.
Go back to OG Call of Duty with that.
Well, I mean, he's still
Yeah. 304 is the radius. Yeah, it's maybe the biggest Minecraft circle you've seen till now. It's definitely the biggest Minecraft circle I've ever made. If I ever complete this, it's gonna be lit.
Record books.
Do what?
Fucking record that shit. World record.
World record. It's definitely not the world record, but yeah, no, the goal is I'm going to finish the glass, remove the sand so that I can fill in the ocean. Because what I was doing is draining one section at a time. And what I want to do is go through and put all the grids in and then drain it. Because I feel like it's taking way too long. Technoblade is pretty funny. Yeah, I haven't watched a ton of his content, but I have seen some of it. And he's pretty funny. I also think like my goal is like if YouTube ever takes off, I really want to have a separation between like I want to have like maybe 2 channels, maybe 3. One where it is just strictly Minecraft, one where I play like first-person shooters, and then like have a real life channel because I love to do things outside of here and like I want to travel and hang out with friends, and I think it'd be like I love David Dobrik and his content. And I think that could be a lot of fun, but I don't know. There's a lot of things that I'd like to do, I guess.
I think it sucks.
Yeah.
There's so many things you want to do, but then not things you can actually do.
Yeah, there's not enough time in the day, so I don't know. I also I would love like just a podcast where I talk. I just love talking and having good conversations. I think Logan Paul has a really strong podcast because they talk about current events, and then they also just, shoot the shit with each other, which I appreciate. So.
You should join our podcast. We haven't started yet.
Yeah, yeah.
all disappeared.
He really does. Like he always texts, but like other than that, he's not around. He's not in Discord anymore. That's for sure.
He's such a doomer. Anytime I hear him, he's like, "Guys, the world's gonna end. We owe so much money. Life sucks."
He really is. For someone who knows as much as he does about the stock market and money and stuff, he is very like negative about the whole thing. And I'm like, why?
I don't understand how you live your life in like such a negative mindset. Like I would want to fucking die.
Yeah, I can't do it.
It's fear versus negative mindset. I feel like he's letting fear give him a negative reality. Like,
right.
think about these things and be like, yeah, it doesn't look good, but also be like, hey, I gotta live. Because then he like tweeted it too. And I saw his tweet. I think he retweeted.
Wait, about what?
Yo, so this has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but I took the medicine that I'm supposed to take to help me sleep last night, right? When I say that stuff knocked me out, like I was so drowsy this morning. I had my alarm set for 7:45. I got out of bed at 10:40. Like I didn't even hear my alarm. I was just like dead to the world.
What? Okay, wait. What time did you go to bed?
Midnight.
Damn, dude.
Like I laid down. Yeah, I took a shower at like 11:45 or something. I got out. I took my medicine shortly after, and then I laid down and watched a little bit of this movie called I don't know. It's a new Netflix movie. Like I guess maybe it's I don't know. It's a Nickelodeon show that they turned into a movie. Something Louds, and it's like a musical kind of thing. It's pretty fun. What plans do I have after draining the whole the whole circle? Let me finish my story and then I'll tell you. So it was probably like around midnight that I took it, and then I probably stayed up for another 30 minutes, and then I shut the TV off. Didn't even finish the movie. Laid down. I was like, oh, I can feel myself like feeling super relaxed, and then it was lights out. And then like this morning, like I woke up to use the restroom, and I was like, oh my gosh, I feel so weird and tired. And I like looked at my eyes when I finally got up this morning, and they were like bloodshot red. I was like, my gosh, I haven't been like that knocked out in a long time. So it was super weird. I'm wondering if it's something I'll get used to, but I definitely need to take the medicine at like 10 o'clock, 10:30, because.
So do you just get to accept the fact that when you take this medicine, you sleep like fucking 10 or 11 hours a day?
I don't know. That's the thing. He told me that like. He basically said that with both the medications that I'm on, I'm going to adjust over time. So I don't know. I hope not. I hope I'm not going to sleep that long, because I would like to be able to get 7 to 8 hours of like quality sleep and then be able to get up and go about my day. So
Yeah.
really hoping that I'm able to wake up and like I just get used to it. So we'll see though, I guess.
Let's go. Welcome to the sleeping club.
Well, thank you. It's definitely not as fun as I thought it would be.
It's shit to be here.
Yeah. So my plans in terms of the mega build. Let's fly to the center of the mega build really quick, and we can talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk about it really quickly here. So. Okay, so once I finish creating the wall and draining the water, the first thing I'm going to do is build the Guardian farm. So I'm sure there's going to be some mining that's going to have to be done here. I'm probably going to take the Ocean Monument out. I like the blocks. I don't necessarily care for how the Ocean Monument actually looks, but I'm not 100% set on that just yet. And then after I do that, it's going to be building within each one of these quadrants. So there's going to be some terraforming, and then there's going to be different cities. It's going to be a Japanese-themed area. So each quadrant, this was Ryan's idea. He said make each quadrant a different like season. So fall, winter, spring, and summer, with Japanese themed builds around that, which I think is going to be sick, because I didn't have a plan for inside the circle. I just knew what I wanted to do outside of the circle, or above the circle, I guess. And so then after I finish that, I'm going to make these biospheres in the air, these massive biospheres. And I'm going to try and implement every biome within Minecraft in each one of these spheres. And that is like the entire idea. I've also thought about taking out all of the ocean and then also adding like an ocean above, and like kind of doing like a world flip kind of thing where the ocean is in the air and the land that is above that should be in the air is below, if that makes sense. So that's kind of what's in my head. I'm not 100% set in stone on anything. Excuse me. It's just kind of what's floating around in my head. The problem is it's such a large build and my brain just likes different ideas. And so because it takes so long to do each individual aspect of the build, I keep coming up with different ideas as I'm going along. So I need to, that's kind of what's in my head at the moment, but I think it either way, it's going to look sick when it's done. It's just going to take a very long time to get to that point, you know? So, which is one of the reasons why I stream, because it allows me to talk to people while I do tedious stuff like remove sand. I mean, what's more exhilarating than removing sand, you know? Exactly.
Oscar, so you said you record
Yep.
all of your streams?
Yes, sir.
Have you streamed 100% of the time that you've worked on Minecraft or no?
No. I've streamed, I've streamed probably 97% of it. So the majority of it is me streaming. But no, I haven't streamed all of it. Because there's like small things, I guess, that like I don't, like I didn't, like, so the other day I went AFK near my melon farm and my pumpkin farm because I needed them to grow in. I'm not gonna, so like streaming, I'm not gonna just sit there and watch pumpkins grow.
What I really want to see is by the time you finish this build, I'm curious if you can go back and see how many hours you wasted on removing sand.
Ooh.
It's not a waste.
Yeah, no.
Totally not a waste.
Yeah, no, it's definitely gonna be a lot. It's so many hours.
I need you to have 1,000 bees.
You need me to have 1,000 bees? That's my computer can't handle that many bees.
Oh yeah, that's a bad business, you guys.
I mean, if I make more money and I can.
Name to find a PC.
Oh, right. I think I have a larger following on YouTube than I do on Twitch. Actually, let me see. Not much.
Playing the work video game.
Let me see here. Channel.
Playing the coding Linux game.
No, that's a lie. I have a much larger following on Twitch than I do on YouTube. I have 500 followers on Twitch. I did not know that.
Wait, you're halfway to your 1,000 goal or whatever?
Yeah, on Twitch. But what I don't.
Are followers like equal to subscribers?
No. Well, yes.
Subscribers are like Twitch followers, but I would argue Twitch followers, if you're on the Twitch platform, are harder to obtain than probably YouTube subscribers.
Yeah. I have mined 53,745 sand blocks.
Say that number again? Slowly.
53,700 and wait,
My God.
where'd it go? Wait, what? Where'd it go?
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, 53,745, and then I've used it
Mine that many blocks total in that case.
but I've used 73,380 or 303, and then what's the last one here? I have picked up 86,000. 86,000 sand blocks, 86,839. That's crazy. That's interesting. That's a lot of sand. But yeah, as I was saying, like YouTube has YouTube is a better long term, and typically a better long term. With Twitch, at least in the past, you had the ability to, like, if you made it on Twitch and you were able to break through, you had this explosive kind of life-changing growth, whereas YouTube is more like it's typically a slower kind of over time, but you have longevity, like not guaranteed longevity with YouTube, but it's definitely better longevity than Twitch is, because with Twitch you can fall off, I guess, just as fast as you kind of grow. But the biggest thing for me was like I don't like the way that Twitch runs Twitch, or the way that Amazon runs Twitch currently, and I love the way that despite the problems with YouTube, I think YouTube's a better long-term play in terms of content. So that's why I gave up on Twitch, even though I was definitely doing better on there in terms of my streams.
Okay, so are you streaming on YouTube then?
Yeah, I am streaming on the old YouTubes.
The number one tip they give you to grow on Twitch is to grow on YouTube. Is essentially that's like the biggest content creator thing. They all say, get your YouTube as big as possible, and that will make your Twitch as big as possible. Think of Twitch as
Wait.
the United States, and the big streamers are the 1%. That's essentially the same thing.
Boom, boom. All right. All right. Once I remove all this sand, we'll go back to playing glass.
You have too much sand. Oh no, you ran out of sand.
Okay. And that's where we are done. We finally removed all the sand. That feels good. Well, not all the sand, but I want to look at this really quick. Oh my gosh, that looks so sick. That looks so sick, yo. I'm so happy with that.
I'll be back a little bit.
Alright, bro. That makes me super happy.
I'm glad it makes you happy.
Alright, so the next plan here is to go and collect more stuff for, we need more pumpkins. And melons, because I need more emeralds.
One pumpkin.
You what?
There's only one pumpkin.
Oh, I see what you did there. Minecraft pumpkins then.
There's a pumpkin in Minecraft too.
Oh, well. I'm going to collect him multiple times then.
You don't have consent.
What do you, Oscar?
What am I going to do? Ignore the fact that there's no consent and do...
You're gonna let me know.
No. I'm going to trade him away for emeralds.
Samurai Jack Funko Pops?
Samurai Jack was lit. I'm hungry.
You should have a potato.
I don't have any... Oh, no, I have mashed potatoes in there. And chicken.
Is this guy fucking stupid?
Yes, I am. Thank
Not you.
What happened? Someone did something dumb. How old am I? I'm 27. I'll be 28 in the end of next month. I'm an oldie.
you.
I am old, all right? I'm super old. I'm not super old, but
Ancient, actually.
yeah. I'm definitely older than probably your typical... Well, am I older than your typical Minecrafter? I don't know. Because
Because
like,
Is the Minecraft audience like mostly children?
no, I think it's a good mixture because a lot of the people that I watch, like Impulse, he's like 30 in his 40s, I think. I know Tango Tech is like in his 40s or close to it. I think Grian and like Mumbo, they're like in their late 20s. They're in their 20s, like maybe early 30s. So I'm not sure. what do I do for a living? Currently, I'm in between jobs, so nothing right now.
He dances.
But prior to that, I coached, and then I would jump, like that was like a part-time thing, and then I jumped between jobs. I have an apparel company that I started, or I guess not a company, like a startup that I own, and the goal is to get that off the ground and do that alongside content creation if I ever get fortunate enough to make this something that is full-time.
Full-time streamer.
And he's gonna make a hype house too.
I'm definitely not making a hype house. Those things are disgusting, and I'm not trying to babysit. Screw that. like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not buying a. I've seen enough videos. Like I thought it'd be cool initially, and then I was like when I was younger, and then the older I get, I'm like, nah, bro, I'm not trying to babysit a bunch of 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Nope. Hey, bro. Because walking in every day and be like, hey, I need you to pick up your trash is not something I want to do. Like, you're 20 years old. Go throw it away. Which is funny because I'm the worst about throwing stuff away if I'm in my gaming room. So I understand, and I'm like, nah, I'm not trying to. It's hard enough to make myself throw it away. I'm not gonna go take care of some other kid. So those are things that I want to do for a living. I also want to invest. Like my wife and I have one rental property, so investing in we want to dump a lot of money, millions of dollars if we can, into real estate, and then millions of dollars into stock investments if we can as well. Is the ultimate goal. So that's where we kind of sit in terms of like our conjoined, I guess, businesses would be real estate, and I don't know if stocks is considered a business. I'm not sure how that works. I know, yeah. So, but I know owning real estate properties is considered, like, I think once you get to a certain point, you have to, like, I just don't see, like, well, I guess you don't technically have to make a business out of it, but it just doesn't make sense not to because of the tax breaks that you can get from starting a real estate investment business, even if it's like just a family one. So but yeah, so dumping a bunch of money into real estate and into stocks to basically be able to I guess technically retire. Like we're on track to retire in our 30s, our mid 30s. So that's like the main goal.
Retiring in your 30s. That sounds nice.
Yeah. I mean, I've never so I guess I feel like there's very few people that truly want to like retire and do nothing. I can't imagine like doing nothing. I will probably always work.
Love to do nothing.
That's it. That seems like so crazy to me. Like I just want to work on the things that I want to work on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, me too. Just nothing.
Just nothing. At least you're honest about it. You know what you want and don't
I
want.
would read. I would go like volunteer to like help less fortunate people and like animals and stuff. I don't know.
Okay, see, yeah, no, I think that still can be considered like work, whether you volunteer, get paid or not. But like, just someone who like retires and then sits at the house all day and never leaves.
Watch fucking wet paint dry or something. No, I'm not gonna do that.
That's exactly my point. Like, I think there's like this idea that I'm gonna retire and I'm just gonna sit at the house all day and not do anything. I'm like, nah, bruh. I'm not gonna sit around and wait for myself to die. Forget that.
Wait for yourself to die.
I'm good, thank you though.
I mean, my dream job is sleeping, so yeah.
Your dream job is sleeping.
Job where you sleeping.
That sounds like such a terrible job. Like, it sounds great in terms of like practice initially, but like the more I think about it, the more it goes on. I'm like, dude,
Yeah, the requirement was to lay in bed for at least 8 hours a day.
ew.
Oh, that's easy.
It was like some NASA like low gravity sleep study or something.
Ew. That sounds horrendous. I must say. Doesn't it?
Paying me like $25K for 3 months, which was terrible.
25K for 3 months. Ooh.
But also like, I don't want people watching me sleep.
You're on track to make 6 figures. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't want people watching me sleep either. Like, you gotta wear this. Why? Because we don't want to see that. Bro, I'm trying to be comfortable. The thought of like someone watching me sleep, that is really creepy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't like it. Not a fan. Bum, 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 no.
Oh, I didn't hear you. When did you say that?
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm sorry that I was talking. You don't have to attack me, Scotty. I am loud, I'm sorry.
How was my character coming along? Is what you asked? But like, yes, or what do you mean? Oh, D&D character. I mean, I found that race that I texted you last night, which seems pretty interesting to make a build around.
Do I have a gold farm? No, not yet.
I want
Because I don't have enough magma blocks to make one, so and I also haven't set up like another hub, and I haven't broken into the top of the nether, so but I've started collecting for it. But yeah, no, I haven't made one yet.
because we can't do it.
I will be making a gold farm and then making a bartering farm. I just need
Doing it then, so we can do it like.
I just need to find out which kind of builds I want to use. I'm probably going to use a Shulker Craft build because their guides or guide, I guess, because they're not always their builds, but their guides, because their guides are really, really well thought out and planned and executed on. So, but no, I haven't made a gold farm yet. Definitely in the works though.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll chill for the first week, I think, anyway. So.
Is this
I
sort
mean,
of
my character is literally a
yes.
have everybody just like come across me in the woods or something.
Something, and then you got stuck in this dungeon, and they come along, and you like revolt or something.
What are the enemies in this dungeon? My character is just gonna get wrecked by giant creatures. Awesome.
Alright, let's go collect more emeralds. Okay, let me go put the other glass up really quick. I have to leave here soon. I gotta help my brother pack. Yeah.
Super excited.
Nope, he's moving to LA, so I'm gonna miss the hell out of him. That's my boy. I'm back and I'm better.
So much better.
I want you bad as ever. Ooh, talk to me.
Wait, Oscar, were you here yesterday when Reed's sister came into his room and told him?
No, I don't think so. Why? What
She's
happened?
like, we can tell the story, but it's funny.
She came into our room, like, I kid you not, with like the straightest face possible. She's like, you need to. Can you say around? What did she say? I forgot how to put it.
You can remove your chest hair.
She's like, you need to take your chest hair out of the shower or whatever.
Alright, Sarthug. Hold on. Have to go, dude. Wait, let's see. Hope to see you soon. I have to go. Alright, have a good one. Take it easy. Okay, sorry. I had to tell one of the viewers that goodbye. He was leaving. So, okay, had to remove your chest hair from the shower. Okay.
I was like, what are you talking about? Like, when I shave my chest, I all stuck in the drain, blah blah blah. So she like made me take the drain thing out, and I kid you not, I pull this drain thing out, and it is just the longest strands of hair on the end of it. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely yours, McKenna. She's like, well, you saw your stuff around it, so you need to do it. I'm like,
Why are you getting an apartment with her?
because I'm a loving, caring brother.
If that's what you want to call it, my guy.
That is some shit to look forward to right there.
Yes, sir.
I respect you
we
for
have
it.
Separate bathrooms, so she can make hers a mess.
Oh, well played. Well played. Alright, pumpkins, melons, panes of glass, iron.
She automatically assumed she was getting like the master room with like the master bathroom and everything. I was like, yeah, and you're also gonna pay more in rent then. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, you get better stuff, you pay more. That's how it works, right? Because it's not an even split. You get all the better stuff. She's like, well, I need it for X, Y, Z. I'm like, I hope you realize, like, I was gonna let you have it because I realize you have more clothes than me. I realize you have more stuff in the bathroom than me. But the fact that you just assumed that it's automatically yours and you didn't even ask me is what pisses me off.
Are you still gonna let her have it?
Of course, I want that.
To make a point.
To make a point.
The bigger the room is, the better chance that the bed's not gonna knock on the wall and I'm gonna be able to hear it. Maybe put some soundproof in there.
Oh my god.
Now that's how you
You
plan.
make her out to be like just this fucking crazy hoe.
What would you call people who work
Oof.
the definition of
A free-spirited, modern, independent woman.
Ooh.
honestly, that's probably what they call it nowadays. Yeah.
That's crazy, yo.
Are you actually like 10? You're not exaggerating.
Not exaggerating in the slightest. Literally 10 different guys.
Oof. Busy bee.
Does she at least remember their names? That's what I want to know.
I mean, some you probably forget, but when you literally, like, when girls have literally hundreds of dudes swiping yes on them on dating apps, it's literally like a person with a high-paying job just having jobs hit them up non-stop wanting to work for them. Like, come here, we'll give you more money. Come here, we'll give you more money. That's essentially what she's got going on. Like, did I tell you about how she...
I respect the
on
grind.
4th of July, had a dude come from Milwaukee, which is like 2.5 hours away, to meet her to come to our hometown for a date.
Oh,
'cause
yeah.
There was like a thing in the park, and then when he was on his way, she literally had a match with a guy who was gonna be in town, and she ended up going on a date with this guy instead when that dude was on his way. Came here, watched her make out with this new dude, and she made out in front of her ex-boyfriend.
Is she like attractive? Like what is the appeal of that style of person?
Someone who will be willing to sleep with
Just like easy.
you with no strings attached. I could only assume what that means for dudes who want that.
And then imagine like learning 3rd grade math.
It's 10 million.
And then knowing that you're about to learn how, 9 times 9 tomorrow morning. Wait, does she teach math?
No, wait. She's a fucking teacher. I cannot with this fucking human being.
Mrs. Falbo, Miss Falbo, what are we learning today? We're gonna work how to sit crisscross applesauce.
We're gonna say crisscross applesauce, but you don't do that. That's not what my brother said.
Oh my gosh, dude, I can't.
Fuck. funny. I can't lie.
She has every right to go do what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Especially if she enjoys it, but I have every right to make fun of her for doing it.
I have to admit, she's pretty consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll give her that.
I don't think being consistent at something makes it a good thing.
Oh no, I agree, but she's consistent.
Yes.
He's like, sure, whatever, dude.
Did you win an award or something?
I mean, is that the kind of award you want? The kind of award that you're gonna bring to your students in kindergarten and be like, hey, look what I got you guys.
Mrs. Elbow, why is there a giant bruise on your neck?
I fucking can't with that shit, because I know for a fact that out of all of the like teachers and professors that I've ever had in my life, at least a couple of them are just like raging sluts.
Oh, have to be. Like my brother coached this year, right? At the high school, and like first thing that happened when he gets there is like the principal's like, hey, bro. He's like, look, you gotta stay professional. He's like, I understand, like, some of these girls don't look like they're 16, 17, and 18 years old. And he's like, and you're a good looking guy. He's like, so you gotta be professional. You gotta, nose no, you gotta walk away, things like that.
Seriously?
Yeah. Yeah.
What does he say to that?
My brother's like, yeah, no, I 100% understand that. I'm not going to do anything quite like that. And then you had the aspect of like, he would come home like, hey, yo, how was work, man? He's like, fuck these damn kids, bro. I can't deal with this shit. These kids they don't listen. Some of them are always talking back and want to fight. And apparently one of them tried to fight him. And so he was like, if you really want to do this, we can step into, it was like one of the athletes. He's like, we can step into the bathroom. And the kid was like, all right, coach, fine. So my brother was like, all right. Walked in there, proceeded to whoop that kid's ass. and I remember like having a conversation with my brother. I was like, this reminds, like, I start thinking about all my teachers, and I'm like, this is exactly how our teachers acted once they were like off work. You have all this super professional at school, but as soon as they get home, they're just like, I can't deal with this shit. These kids are too damn much. But I don't know. School is working at a school.
Some kid challenged Duncan to a fight.
Yeah, there's a lot of courageous ones out there.
Kid walked home and his parents like, what happened?
Duncan he didn't hit him in the face or anything. He was like, no, I made sure to hit him. There were body shots.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, I'm not that stupid. I'm not gonna put a bruise on a kid's face. He's like, but I caught him in the chest a few times. And the kid was like, all right, coach, I'm done. I was like, all right then, cool.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah. So these damn kids keep trying my patience. I'm gonna beat their ass. Hey, bro, relax, Duncan. Relax, bro. Can't be doing that. I think he like punched him once or twice. It was like, are we done here? And the kid was like, yes, sir. Like, okay. I don't know why you challenged me to a fight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so.
And I'm gonna hop on lunch.
Alright, have fun. What time is it? It is 1:18. Okay. We're gonna finish a little bit more glass. I'm gonna end the stream because I gotta eat and then go help my brother move. Well, pack, not move. I'm not driving to LA. Oh, I'm being chased by a drone. Come here, bud. Oh, come on. No, you're okay. Come here. There we go, buddy. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Banana, banana. Dun 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 dun. Bum 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 bum. I also have coffee waiting for me. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm back here.
Oh,
Look at her butt. She looks like one of those rapper guys.
Smokes. Shut up. Stop
Stop
it.
it.
Stop.
Oh yeah. When I get back from helping out my brother, it's gonna be League of Legends time.
Are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't want to do it, but I have to get my fix every day. So, are you playing League right now?
Nope.
Have you played at all today? Wait, what's that?
It's code.
Having fun? Why? Ooh, it's a good goal to have. I believe in you.
Yeah, the first goal you've ever made in your life.
I failed it by 2 points last time. So if I actually and I barely studied for it last time, so if I actually study this time, I will pass the flying colors.
I respect that. You do that. You do it, bro. Alright, I am finishing this tower and then I'm ending stream. Wait, no I'm not. I gotta go 2.5 hours or it's gonna bother me. I have 4 minutes.
I hate when things like that. Wait, I just say
Yeah, let me just finish the 4 minutes and I can get off. It's gonna be fun to remove all this sand in the water, and by fun I mean it's not gonna be fun at all because you move so slow in water. Even with Depth Strider 3 boots, you don't swim that fast. I wonder if there's like a... Wait, what? You fought somebody?
They had someone take pictures of us during the alumni game. Trying to see if they took a picture of me sticking the dude.
Got him good. Oh, stretch. Bum bum bum. Banana. 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 Yeah. Banana. Yeah. Wah, ba, ba. How did Maddie's stream end up finishing off? That's awesome. Is she enjoying it? That's the real question. The Lake? Is that a game? Is there a trailer or something? The Lake.
It'll be right next to the ocean.
That was so fun. I kind of wish I would have played during 2D.
How often do they do alumni games?
This was the first one we've had in 5 years, so
Hopefully they do it again next year.
hopefully they do it next year. Yeah, they want to.
got 30 seconds.
Oh, they did get it! Let's go!
Oh no.
Can I save this? How do I...
All right.
Oh my god.
Stream that does it. We hit the 2.5 hour mark. I'm gonna go help my brother out. Actually, I'm gonna eat and then go help my brother out. You guys have a good one. Thanks for hanging out.
So,
Peace.
This